Stop what you are doing and listen because this affects you today, not next month, not someday. And I need your full attention right now. If you have a bank account and you are over 60, this message is urgent and deeply personal. What feels like a normal deposit, a routine withdrawal, or a quick transfer to help a family member can now trigger an automated system that locks your money without warning and without explanation. Most seniors still believe the bank will call first, or send a letter, or give you time to respond. That assumption is no longer safe. A new federal banking rule is rolling out right now, and people are already discovering the consequences in real time. Cards are declined, accounts are frozen, bills go unpaid, prescriptions cannot be filled, all because a computer decided something looked different for a moment. The shock is sudden and the fear is real. Stay with me because in just a few minutes, I will give you a clear checklist to protect yourself. And at the very end, I will tell you exactly where to turn if your money gets locked. And before we go any further, like and subscribe so I can keep warning seniors before problems hit instead of after the damage is already done. My name is Judith Carver, and I am a senior protection educator. I do this work because too many seniors are treated as afterthoughts in systems that move fast and explain nothing. Remember this as we go forward. Our rights do not expire with age. Now, stay with me because this is where the urgency becomes real, and I need you fully present for this. Federal banking regulators have finalized and begun enforcing new compliance rules that fundamentally change how your bank looks at you, your money, and your behavior. Banks are now required to collect more personal information, monitor accounts with tighter automated systems, and restrict access faster than ever before when something does not fit their internal model. The public was barely informed. There were no loud announcements, no clear letters explaining what to expect. Instead, banks quietly updated their software behind the scenes and flipped the switch. And here's the part that should make you pause. The people being affected first are not criminals or bad actors. They are ordinary account holders doing ordinary things: paying bills, receiving deposits, helping family traveling, and selling personal items. The brutal truth is this: these systems are not human. They do not recognize loyalty. They do not care that you have banked there for decades. They do not understand context, emotion, or explanation. They see numbers, patterns, and deviations, and when something looks different, they act immediately. Access is restricted first. Questions come later. Your card stops working. Transfers fail. Deposits sit on hold. And only then are you asked to prove who you are and where your own money came from. This is not a theory. It is already happening. And if you are not prepared, it feels sudden, frightening, and completely out of your control. Stay with me, because knowing this ahead of time changes everything. Let me show you exactly what that means. A senior named Linda receives a larger deposit than usual from selling a used car. Completely legal, completely normal. The system flags it as unusual. Her entire account is frozen, not just that money. Rent, utilities, groceries, all blocked. The emotional consequence is panic and disbelief. The punchline is that being honest does not protect you from delay. Pause for a moment because this next part is happening every single week and most people never see it coming. Travel. Something as simple as a hotel charge in another state or a dinner while visiting family can suddenly look suspicious to a monitoring system. Even when travel notices are placed, even when you did everything the bank told you to do, accounts are still being flagged. Cards decline without warning. Accounts are restricted in real time. Seniors find themselves standing at a checkout counter or hotel desk while a line forms behind them, trying to explain into a phone that they are not a criminal. They are just away from home. The emotional hit is sharp and immediate. Embarrassment, confusion, and fear all at once. The untold truth is that to these systems, movement equals risk and context no longer matters. Here is where it gets crazy, and this catches retirees especially hard. Regular income changes, a pension adjustment, a one time bonus, a tax refund. The system sees a break in the pattern and reacts instantly. Funds are placed on hold while you are told to wait for review. Meanwhile, real life keeps moving. Rent is due. Prescriptions need refilling. Appointments cannot be postponed. The emotional weight is heavy because you did nothing wrong, and yet you are forced into delay. The punchline is painful, but real. Timing now matters more than intent. Watch out for this because cash is being treated like suspicion. Depositing even modest amounts can trigger questions and extended holds. Seniors who have used cash responsibly for decades suddenly find themselves explaining ordinary behavior. The emotional consequence is feeling judged and diminished. The system only sees numbers, not history, not character, and certainly not dignity. Most people never notice the danger in payment apps. Receiving money from friends, family, or neighbors through peer payments can look like business activity. Multiple small transfers raise flags. The bank freezes first and explains later. The punchline is that convenience leaves a trail. Now, listen carefully because this next section is where many seniors are getting blindsided. International activity is under intense scrutiny right now. Sending money to a family member overseas, receiving help from a relative abroad, even making a small purchase from an international retailer online can immediately raise red flags inside a bank's monitoring system. These transactions are automatically treated as higher risk, no matter how small or routine they are for you. Payments are blocked, transfers are delayed, and suddenly you are required to verify your identity again and again just to regain access. For seniors with children, grandchildren, or siblings living outside the country, the emotional consequence is immediate fear. Fear that the money will not move, fear that access will not return, fear that something normal has suddenly gone very wrong. This is the part nobody talks about, and it matters more than most people realize. When an account is flagged, that mark does not simply disappear once the issue is resolved, even when you did nothing wrong. Even when the bank clears the transaction, the flag often remains in internal systems. Multiple flags over time can quietly label an account as high risk. And once that happens, banks may restrict services, close accounts, or deny new ones without explanation. Fixing this can take months, sometimes longer, and it often requires repeated calls, paperwork, and persistence. The punchline is sobering but real. One automated mistake can echo far beyond the moment it happened. So here is what you do, and stay focused because this protects you. Update every piece of contact information with your bank now. Review your transaction history and anticipate anything unusual. Call ahead if something large is coming. Keep documentation for deposits, transfers, and sales. Activate alerts so you know instantly when something changes. Know exactly how to reach your bank fraud department and when they answer. Separate side income from personal accounts. Keep notes on peer payments. Make sure you can access online banking tools because verification is now digital. And be on high alert for scams using this rule as bait. Banks do not demand passwords, threaten closure, or rush you. If your account is frozen despite doing everything right, pause and breathe because panic will not help, but action will. This moment feels overwhelming because access disappears instantly and answers do not. The first thing to do is slow your breathing and focus on clarity. Ask exactly what triggered the restriction. Ask which transaction raised concern. Ask what specific documents or verification are required to restore access. Do not accept vague answers. Write everything down. Names, times, reference numbers, and instructions matter more than you realize. Respond as quickly as possible once the bank tells you what they need. Delays on your end can stretch a short review into days or longer. If the issue is not resolved through the first level of support, escalate calmly and politely. Ask to speak with a supervisor or someone in the compliance department. Persistence without anger gets results. If essentials are at risk, speak up clearly. Explain if you need funds for food, housing utilities, or medical care. Many banks have hardship procedures that allow partial fund release while reviews continue, but they rarely offer this unless asked directly. And once the situation is resolved, take a step back and reflect. Ask yourself whether this institution treated you with respect, transparency, and urgency. You are not obligated to stay with a bank that leaves you feeling powerless. You are allowed to choose better service and demand dignity. Here's the shift I want you to make. Banking is no longer passive. Awareness is now part of protection. This rule is active now. It affects checking, savings, and direct deposits. It does not mean you did something wrong. It means the system changed without asking you. Bear with me because here is the checklist promised. Keep information current, anticipate unusual activity, document everything, use alerts, know your contacts, verify messages independently. These steps restore control. If a situation ever feels legally or financially complex, contact a licensed attorney or qualified professional who can give you advice specific to your circumstances. You deserve calm, clarity, and respect. I read every comment and email personally, so share your experience or concerns. Like and subscribe so I can continue providing information seniors are coping with every day. Carry this forward with you. Your rights do not expire with age.